Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Fell in Love with Female Villains and Makes Harem Movie. Before we start, please go support ancalagonintheblack for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this essay as a male in this story. Chapter 1. Izuku can be seen walking calmly in his house preparing to go to UA, although you can see how he grabs a bandage on his right arm and tightens it more tightly. After that he walks to the exit of his house where he stops to look at someone's photos. One photo was of his mother and the other was of him between two people. Izuku. I promise I'll always do good, Mom, Bakugo and Todoroki. After that, he sees the photo of his best friends hugging each other with a smile, although Izuku was more so since Todoroki barely had one and Bakugo was upset. Izuku left his house on the way to UA where he ran into someone. Izuku. I'm so sorry, I was lost in my thoughts. No problem. Izuku. I'm Izuku Midoriya. Ichako Uraraka, where is UA? Izuku. You are. Uraraka. You can tell by wearing that academy uniform. Izuku. Thank you, but I have to go, Miss Uraraka. I'm running late, goodbye and I hope to see you soon. Uraraka stops looking at him to put on an evil smile. Uraraka. And we'll see each other very soon, Izuku. When Izuku arrived at UA, he went in to be with his best friends. Izuku. Hello Lita, Kirishima, Kaminari. Kirishima. Izu bro, how are you? Izuku. Good. Kaminari. I heard we're going to be taken to a testing building soon. Izuku. Seriously, how do you get the information? Kaminari. Not very legal ways. Lita. That's wrong. The three of them laugh at how Lita acted. On the other hand, you can see Uraraka entering a place that looked like a bar. Momo. And did you get anything? Uraraka. We just have to know that we will soon attack the USJ. Jiru. Just to kill All Might. Kendo. I hope some of the hero class is strong. Kami. And I assure you that it will be like that. After all, there is a reason why All Might is interested in Class 1A. Uraraka. And to say that when I was coming back I ran into a green-haired guy. Afo. What was his name? Uraraka. What is the meaning of Ira Izuku Midoriya? Tamura. Master wants us to kill him. Afo. No, that boy is worth gold, I want him brought to me. Sai. Sir, I know I shouldn't interfere, but why do you want us to bring him here, Jiro? Afo. You guys just do it and be careful when you bring it to me. Days passed and the girls kept an eye on the green-haired boy. Kendo. Why are we watching him? Momo. Because the gentleman is interested in him and I want to know why. Jiru. He just shows a smile to everything, but the only interesting thing about him is bandages. Toru. And he might be hurt. Jiru. No, if he was hurt the boy wouldn't be adjusting them all the time apart from the fact that sometimes he touches that arm. Uraraka. Maybe because he has something he doesn't want to show. Momo. Maybe that makes sense because he even bathes with those bandages on. The girls were watching him. Apart from the bandages, the only interesting thing about him was that he avoided anything that had to do with mountains. Chapter 2. After the girls had the information about the green-haired Izuku, he was with his friends changing to go to the USJ at Izawa's request, putting the boys in doubt about what they wanted from them in that place, but they didn't take much importance, in fact little or nothing directly. Kirishima. Hey Izuku, when are you going to show us what you have under those bandages? Izuku. I'm never going to do it. Kaminari. Why? Izuku. It's part of the past that I don't plan on bringing up. The boys understood, so they left the boy alone until they were left to take the bus to go straight to the USJ, where the lights would fail to show the villains. The girls would be in a faraway hidden part watching through the cameras. Izuku. Villains. He said this while looking at all the villains, so Izawa would rush into the fight while the other boys would manage to get out of Kurogiri's trap. Uraraka. Stupid Kurogiri, if he can't do that, how do they want the other villains to do something? In the fight. Kirishima. Izawa-sensei will need our support. The three boys launched themselves, beginning to make a massacre with the villains since Kirishima was in charge of defeating the toughest ones, while Kaminari electrocuted them and Izuku gave him one more smash without breaking his bones. Tamura. How is it possible that those guys can take on everyone? Izuku. That's easy to answer. Kirishima. We're not just friends. Kaminari. We are also heroes who fight together and have a goal. Izuku, Kirishima, Kaminari. We are the three great heroes. With a big smile. They said this while at the same time launching an attack that sent a bunch of villains flying. Tamura. Let's see what they do with this. Nomu kills them. That thing called Nomu went against them, but Kirishima began to block it so that Izuku could hit him with a blow that opened his skin a little so that Kaminari could throw a lightning bolt at him, electrocuting him while they saw the Nomu moving away and he regenerated. Izuku. He can regenerate. Kirishima. We have to give them some hits that they can't regenerate with. Kaminari. Let's go. The three of them went against the Nomu who tried to hit him, but Izuku began to counter his blows so that he couldn't do anything, while Kirishima hit him in the face, followed by Kaminari throwing a ball of lightning at him, but the Nomu would hit the three of them, sending them flying. Izuku. It seems we'll have to go all out, let's try these years of training. You can see how electricity forms all over Kaminari's body, while Kirishima makes his skin much harder, and Izuku begins to get green rays along with something black coming out of his body. The three of them. Let's go. It is seen how Izuku and Kaminari disappear from everyone's sight, and between the two of them, they hit the Nomu in the knees, causing him to kneel and Kirishima to begin to give him a flurry of blows, causing the Nomu to retreat and begin to get up with difficulty. Izuku. With every hit we give him, he gets stronger. Kaminari. Yes, but it can't hold up like it used to. Kirishima. Let's try the combo. The three begin with their thing in which Kirishima makes the Nomu fall with a blow, but before hitting the ground, Kaminari appears below him to begin giving him an enormous amount of blows, which almost could not be seen, but he put his hands together so that he gives an enormous amount of electricity, causing the Nomu to rise in the air, but before it goes down, Izuku would begin to give him more blows, causing it to rise in the air, and then Izuku would hit him with a mallet, causing it to crash against the ground, so that Kaminari would throw Kirishima to where Izuku is so that he would receive him in the air, and begin to spin to a point where with great force, he threw Kirishima onto the Nomu, causing a large crater to form. Kaminari. Get up from that. At the moment All Might entered through the doors with the teachers. Tamura. Damn it Kurogiri, let's go. Kurogiri. But the boy. Tamura. We can't go now, let's go. At that moment they left while the three boys fell to the floor tired. Chapter 3. After the attack on the USJ, apart from seeing the power that Izuku, Kirishima and Kaminari had together, they were with some bandages, although Izuku had more than the others without any explanation, although at this moment he was preparing to go to a place where he would meet Uraraka, since she told him to meet in a place so he accepted. Uraraka. Are you ready? Toru. Yes, we know that we are going to see what all this is like, but I don't understand why we came to. Momo. So we can get more information from him. Mina. Stop talking, he's coming. They see Izuku coming from afar so they approached. Izuku. Hello Uraraka-chan. Uraraka. Hey Izuku, it looks like you're still recovering from your injuries. Izuku. Yes, but who are they? Uraraka. They are my friends. I brought them here to meet you. I hope they don't bother you. Izuku. There's no way, everything is always better as a group. At that everyone starts walking around talking, although there were many questions for Izuku. Uraraka. Izuku, what's your hero name going to be? Izuku. It's going to be Deku. Jiru. Why would you give yourself a useless name? Izuku. That's what an old friend of mine was called. Toru. And where is it? Izuku. Step to a better life. They were like that for a while doing their thing until at one point the girls saw again those bandages that he never took off, leaving them in doubt. A while passed while each one was doing their own thing until they reached the beach. Momo. This beach was all dirty when I passed by. What happened to it? Jiru. Someone must have cleaned it. That's what some people are doing. Man. Look, it's the boy who cleaned the beach. The girls upon hearing that looked at Izuku, who only acted as if that was N''T true, but the voices said otherwise. After a while, Izuku took off all the bandages except the one on his arm. Kendo. You took off all the bandages except that one. Izuku. It's just that my wound on this arm still hasn't healed. Amy. But it can't be wrong. He said this as he brought his hand closer to the bandages, but Izuku pulled his hand out very quickly. Izuku. I'm sorry, I just don't want these bandages to go away. Kendo. Why? Izuku. Not only does he have a physical wound, but also a very old emotional one. He said it all with a smile that left the girls in more doubt, but they stopped asking until each one went their own way, while the girls returned to watch Izuku in his house, but this time being Momo. Kendo and Uraraka, which saw how Izuku took 2 signs with names along with a large bottle of sake, and they saw how he sat in the living room while he poured alcohol into 3 glasses while he put the signs in each place. Izuku. Sorry, I remembered my past again. He said this while he started drinking while the sign said Bakugo and the other Todoroki. Momo. What are you doing? Kendo. It is a way to honor someone who died and apparently they are their friends. The 3 of them watched as he downed the entire bottle while wearing a nostalgic and sad smile. Chapter 4. After Izuku met the girls and they were talking, the only information they had was very little about the boy's past, so they would try to get more, but now they were in a dark place, while part of the League of Villains was seen in the place. Afo. So you didn't capture Izuku. Tamura. No sir, but the girls were talking to him. He said this while taking some photos which showed Izuku with him. Momo. Just so you know, we just want to know more about him, which is why we met up with him. Afo. Have more information about him, well thought out Momo, as always you do things behind my back that never cease to surprise me and leave me very satisfied. Momo. Yes sir, but he is very guarded with his things. Afo. I see, well in that case I'll let you keep visiting it. Momo, as you wish sir. He said this to leave the place while the League of Villains also left, although Tamura was not happy, and once they left all for one, put something on his screen showing photos of Izuku of all his ages, but there was one that caught the attention of anyone looking. Afo. We'll meet again. The girls kept looking at Izuku, but one day when they went they met him and his friends. Kaminari. Hey Izuku, who are the beauties? Izuku. Girls, Kaminari is a pervert and Kirishima. They talked about this until they asked each other questions. Momo. What would you do as heroes? Kaminari. I would definitely be the fastest hero and the one who will have a harem. Kirishima. I will show what a real man is to everyone. Izuku. I will only do what I think is right even if others think it is wrong, I would even go so far as to make villains good. Jiru. But a villain will always be a villain. Izuku. Not always, to be a villain you need a motive, and from that motive you can find the good. My mother told me that every person, no matter who, will always have something good. There are heroes who do wrong in their justice like villains who do good because of that. Uraraka. Then you would be a villain for doing good. Izuku. I don't care if everyone hates me or loves me, I will always be there to do good. Kirishima. That's definitely a man's thing. They talked for a while longer until they had to go home, but before they left, Mina noticed something. Mina. And that. He said this while pointing at a symbol that was on top of a piece of furniture, so Izuku reacted quickly and took it to hide it. Izuku. It's nothing special, it's getting late, it's better if everyone goes home. Everyone was walking. Jiru. Hey, what can you tell us about Izuku? Kirishima. Just that he's a good partner. Kaminari. And he's very closed off about his past for some reason. The girls already knew that they were practically alone to find out about Izuku. Chapter 5. After they visited Izuku where he introduced his friends, they left and the days passed until the sports festival arrived where everyone prepared with their own training and were in the place ready to start the festival once and for all, while the villains watched TV to find out who would be the winner of the sports festival. Tamura. I voted that boy named Kirishima will win. Kurogiri. I voted for Kaminari. Toru. I vote for Izuku. Everyone had their votes and saw that Izuku was going to give the presentation. Izuku. I hope everyone does their best and surpasses themselves plus ultra. He said it with a big smile, making everyone excited by how Izuku said it. Midnight. The first part will be a race. Everyone got into position to start running. Kaminari. Guys, don't be slow. Kirishima. Let's show everyone the power of a real man. Izuku. Just don't finish last. In a second when the bell ranged to run, the three of them came out of the crowd at the same time in order to be able to reach the finish line first. Kirishima. Izuku, you won't be able to get past me. Izuku. You want to see. Kaminari. They're very slow. He said it while passing by, but ended up crashing into a 0-point robot. Kaminari. It won't be that easy. Kirishima. You lack toughness. He said this as he stepped to the side as he began to break the robots, passing through them, while Izuku just jumped over them using their heads as if it were nothing, so Kaminari had to dodge each robot until they reached a point. Izuku. Now how do we spend? Kirishima. I don't know. Kaminari. I don't know about you, but I'm taking the rope. Kirishima. Izuku. Don't get ahead of yourself. They said this to get over the rope and start running again. Kirishima. We are close to the goal. At that moment Lita passed by him. Lita. I will be the. Before he could continue speaking, I ended up exploding and sending him back. Kaminari. What happened? Izuku. They're explosives. They had to start running, but this time they looked down, being careful where they stepped because they didn't want to fly away. Kirishima. This is not easy at all. Kaminari. At least we're almost done with this part. He said this passing by at once so that they could run again, but this time at a greater speed since they had the goal in front of their eyes. Midnight. First place goes to Izuku Midoriya, second place goes to Kaminari, and third place goes to Kirishima. Izuku. You understand. Kirishima. It was just luck. Izuku. We pay. They watched as the two gave money to Izuku. Midnight. Sorry, but what are you doing? Kaminari. A bet, whoever wins, the others get paid. Izuku. That's why we're in such a hurry. Chapter 6. After the race in which Kirishima and Kaminari paid Izuku in the League of Villains, it is seen how Kurogiri and Tamura give a part of the money to Toru, who was jumping with happiness for winning her part of the money in front of everyone, with a drop of sweat running down his head. Kurogiri. This is a part of the money. Tamura. Don't forget that there are 2 more parts missing. In the festival. Midnight. We will move on to the second test, which will be Cavalry. It would explain the same test from the original story why everyone was looking for a team. Kirishima. How about we team up? Izuku. Sounds like a good idea to me. He said it so that it would end up being Izuku on top, Kirishima on the right, Kaminari on the left, and Lita in the back ready for whatever happens. Izuku. Now we're going to win. In the League of Villains. Tamura. And how do we do this part? Kurogiri. We'll be in a truce for the time being. At the festival they were already given permission to start, so everyone went for Izuku's team. Izuku. Now. He said this so that Lita could use her legs to start running, while Kirishima used his hardening of her and Kaminari electrocuted anyone who came close, and Izuku prevented them from taking his points by getting rid of all the people. Lita. It was good to make a plan. Izuku. I told you it would work. Kirishima. But what are you saying if it was my plan? He said this while trying to strangle Izuku, making everyone sweat. All in mind. They are not a team. Kaminari. Hey, here you eat more. Izuku. Kaminari sends electricity to my body. He said this so that Kaminari would do what he asked, and they could see how Izuku began to throw Kaminari's electricity at the teams, although when he finished he was very tired with smoke coming out of his body. Izuku. Now I don't think that was a good idea. They started running, avoiding everyone until they saw that they were almost finished, but they were surrounded. Izuku. How about we end this once and for all with a grand finale? Kaminari. Sounds good to me. Izuku. Turn to Kirishima. And that Kirishima releases Izuku so that he makes something dark come out of his body holding Kirishima and the others apart from lifting them, while Kirishima went to a form in which his body was totally harder so that he hit the floor with a mallet, causing a tremor in the place, causing the teams to not be able to stand, causing them all to fall, and the bell rang, indicating that time was up. Kirishima. This is a great ending. After that they moved on to the next part. Chapter 7. After the boys won the second part of the sports festival, a break was taken in which everyone was preparing for the third and final part of the sports festival to end with who is the strongest of all of the one until everyone finished preparing. Midnight. The last part will be some fights, the first will be Izuku against Shinso. The 2 of them walked to the front where they stared at each other. Shinso. It's a nice day. Izuku. Yes it is. He stopped talking as his body went still. Shinso. Okay, now come out. Izuku began to walk off the platform. Kurogiri. Toru prepare to pay. Toru. Oh come on Izuku wake up. Before anything else happened, it was seen how some black things took Izuku's body from him, causing him to stop so that they could begin to control his body from him, followed by him beginning to go against Shinso to run. Shinso. But what? He didn't say anything else because of a blow from Izuku, leaving him looking like a winner. Midnight. Well the winner is Izuku, let's move on to the next one of Kaminari vs Tokoyami. Everyone saw how when they got on the platform Tokoyami would send his shadow against Kaminari, but it would make a ball of electricity that pushed the shadow away. Tokoyami. What? Kaminari. I'm sorry but you can't touch me. He said this to start running only to hit him with an electric shock, causing him to leave the arena. Midnight. Alright next fight. After that they moved on to the next fights until Kirishima's fight against Lita came. Shoji. I say Kirishima loses. Izuku. No. Mineta. Why? Kaminari. Kirishima is going to win, I assure you. When the 3 of them got on the platform and they were given the start of the fight, they saw how Lita ran against Kirishima but ended up avoiding him completely, as if it were nothing to kick him, but it hurt Lita, and when she looked at why she saw Kirishima's toughness. Kirishima. I'm sorry but you won't do anything to me. She said this by giving him a punch in the face that pushed him away, but Lita got up to make him disappear, and behind Kirishima appeared to start pushing him off the platform very quickly. Monoma. Looks like I lost. Izuku. Both of you. Before Lita took Kirishima out, she was a few centimeters away from doing so and was left wondering why, but she saw how his hand was buried in the floor. Kirishima. Thanks for losing me. He said this while taking Lita's arm from her and pulling him off the platform, becoming the winner. Chapter 8. After the first fights they had to move on to the second ones, in which the first fight excited the people as well as the League of Villains, the people because 2 people were going to fight who showed great skills throughout this time, while the League of Villains for their bets. Midnight. Next fight between Kaminari and Izuku. The two of them went up ready to fight with everything they had. Kaminari. Please don't lose so fast. Izuku. I hope you don't get mad at me when I beat you. Midnight. Begin. When he said that, Kaminari tried to throw lightning bolts at him, but Izuku dodged them so that he could get closer and hit him hard, making him retreat, but Izuku managed to hit him with a shock, causing him to move away as well. Kurogiri. It is Kaminari. Toru. Come on Izuku, give him a good hit. In the fight, Kaminari would try to give him another discharge, but Izuku would dodge it to hit him, causing him to move away. Kaminari. Nice hit. He said this while launching electricity at Izuku, but he only dodged it with some difficulty. Izuku. And what did you expect from me, the strongest, but let's leave the games and fight seriously. Kaminari. As you wish. He said this as he began to draw out an enormous amount of electricity from his body, causing it to find light, while Izuku began to draw out darkness. The two of them disappeared at the same time to begin to bump fists at high speed at the same time, even though they disappeared to reappear in another part of the platform. Present might. What a great fight, don't you think Izawa? Izawa. No wonder, Izuku and Kaminari along with Kirishima are the three strongest in Class 1A. Everyone watched as these two fist bumped until they ended up in the middle of the platform staring at each other for them to take a few steps away. Izuku. I always like these kinds of fights. He said this as his darkness grew larger as did Kaminari's light, although they saw some notable green rays from Izuku, the two auras covering the entire platform half and half colliding with each other. Izuku. Let's get this over with. Kaminari. And so it shall be. They said this by moving their arms back and at the same time bumping fists, creating a cloud of dust which when it left, a shirtless Kaminari could be seen lying on the floor unconscious and Izuku with his darkness still present standing. Midnight. The winner is Izuku. In the League of Villains. Toru. Pay Kurogiri. When he paid them they saw how Izuku brought out his darkness ending up on his knees with a face of pain. Midnight. Izuku, can you continue? Izuku. Yes I can. He said this as he stood up. Tamura. It seems that in the next fight I will win. Chapter 9. After Kaminari and Izuku's fight which left everyone amazed by the great fight, they gave up from the fact that Toru was winning the bet, but they already had to move on to the last fight of the sports festival, which had everyone excited because the last two strongest were going to fight. Present might. On the one hand we have the strength of Class 1A, his toughness that keeps him standing, demonstrating his manhood, Kirishima, and on the other, the one who shows the darkness, but with his smile that he always maintains, he shows the light and proclaims himself the strongest, Izuku. The two of them went up, staring at each other. Midnight. Okay, let's begin. In the League of Villains. Tamura. I say you pay me now, Toru. Toru. No, I know Izuku will win. In the festival. Kirishima. Show me all your darkness. Izuku. And you show me what a man is. The two went against each other, so Kirishima could try to hit him, but Izuku dodged it without a problem to hit Kirishima followed by a kick, but noticed that he had his quirk activated. Izuku. I already knew that I would give you the first blows. Kirishima. Obviously yes. The two of them walked away from each other. Izuku. You know what, let's move on to a higher potential one. You see how Izuku begins to reach that darkness, while green rays came out, while Kirishima would go to his toughest form, impressing everyone. Present might. They will reach their highest potential from the start. The two of them went against each other, making Izuku think he would dodge it, but instead they collided fists making a wave that everyone felt apart from a tremor. Before anyone said anything they collided fists again followed by another and another, so that between the two of they continued that way, making a crater beneath them both which grew bigger with each hit. Present might. What we have here are both equal. Izawa. The two are rivals who have clashed fists more than 11. Present might. And who won? Izawa. It always ended in a tie. Everyone stared at the fight as the two continued without putting any brakes on each other, although the most surprising thing was their enormous resistance, until they finally managed to hit each other, causing them to move away after a blow to the face. Izuku. Ah. He screamed as more darkness came out of his body leaving everyone shocked, but Kirishima began to run against Izuku, so they ended up in a fist fight, making a huge cloud of dust, leaving everyone in doubt as to who won, but when the dust cleared, they saw Izuku standing and Kirishima on the floor. Izuku. I win. He said this as he fell to the floor and was declared the winner, while everyone in the League of Villains gave money to Toru. Momo. So that's why the Lord wants Izuku. Kurogiri. No, he wants it for something more personal. Chapter 10. After the sports festival where everyone looked at Izuku asking for an autograph, even though he was a bit embarrassed, but the girls still continued to visit him, even though they were still in the same situation of not being able to get any information about him, leaving them in doubt about what was so special about Izuku. If it wasn't his power, then what was so special about the boy for all four? 1. Right now Izuku was at home with his friends. Hiroshima. Hey, what do you think about the girls? Kaminari. I say they're scary, they're like monsters when they get angry. That offended them because they were being watched. Hiroshima. I say they're more like a little annoying sometimes. The girls were about to go in and kill them, but they were just waiting for Izuku. Izuku. I say they are good, they have their character, but they're rewarded with their cute faces and more things. Kaminari. Anyone would say that you have a crush on them. Izuku. Who knows, maybe yes, maybe not, no one knows. After that they waited for the next day since they had to go to internships, although at this moment the girls stopped watching Izuku taking a break while Izuku in his dreams of him. Izuku. Please don't leave me, I never had to accept it, hold on a little longer. He said this while he was surrounded by some dead people in a massacre and began to hear a siren, but when the door opened the boy woke up completely sweating. Izuku. That nightmare again. The boy just got ready to leave his house and start walking to the place where he met Gran Torino. Izuku. Is he still alive? Hurin. Yes. The two talked until Izuku's training began. He trained without stopping, days passed, and one was on patrol until he received a message, so he left until he reached an alley. Stain was about to kill Lita, but received a blow from Izuku. Izuku. Incredible, I leave you alone and this happens. Stain. Another one. Izuku. I will eliminate you, hero killer, you will receive my justice. He said this while going against Stain, who upon seeing this would try to cut him with his katana, but he dodged it, and when he tried to look back he couldn't find him, but looked up where he received a blow from Izuku, causing him to fall to the floor, but before he could do anything, Izuku grabbed him by the leg to crash him against the wall and throw him. Stain. Damn kid. Stain would throw a kunai at him, but Izuku took it and returned it, hitting him in the leg, but before he could do anything he received another blow from Izuku, causing him to throw back. Izuku. I don't think you knew a kid like I could stand up to you. Stain would try to do something, but Izuku would arrive in front of him to give him a large number of blows which left him in a bad state. Izuku. You have 6 broken ribs and 2 broken arms, you can't do anything against me. Stain only remained unconscious, but when the heroes arrived Izuku noticed something on a roof, seeing what looked like girls with masks who left. Chapter 11. After the internships Izuku was at home quietly apart from taking the teacher's test, making him have to be about to leave his house to buy some things, but there was a knock on the door. When Izuku opened it, he saw the girls who had a big smile, but Izuku wondered what they were doing here. Uraraka. Hello. Izuku. Hello. Momo. Are you ready to go? Izuku. I was actually about to leave, why? The girls took it to leave the house, starting to walk until they reached a building where they entered, making Izuku wonder what they were doing there. Izuku. What are we doing here? Momo. Well, Kendo wanted to come to this martial arts tournament. Amy. Although it is something not at all feminine, but it can be done. Sai. Still our friend Jiro. Izuku. And why do you bring me here? Uraraka. We wanted you to eat. Everyone watched the fights that were until happening it ended. Kendo. Now that was really cool. Izuku. Yes, but he lacks a lot of speed and precision in his attacks. He said it in a low voice thinking they wouldn't hear him, but it was the opposite. Fighter. Hey, if you say that it's because you can beat me or what? Izuku. I don't want any trouble. Fighter. Come on, come on. Kendo. Let's go Izuku. The boy had no choice but to enter the fight. Before long the fighter would start hitting him. Momo. They're hitting him a lot. Before he got another hit, Izuku dodged it to get into a fighting stance that left Kendo in awe, and when the fighter tried to hit him, Izuku began to block all his attacks from him. Everyone wondered why they didn't hit the green-haired man, but at great speed, he would begin to deliver a great variety of blows to the fighter. Everyone was impressed as a few more blows left the fighter completely on the floor unconscious, so that they only screamed at the fight, although some of the girls noticed Izuku's empty cold look and sadness was what it reflected, but he took it off to put on a smile, so they left the place. Kendo. Hey Izuku, how do you know about martial arts? Izuku. What do you mean? Kendo. That way of fighting is from the Wing Chun fighter Ip Man. Izuku. I thought it was pure luck. The girls looked at him with doubt, since those movements could not be luck. When they reached a point they separated. When Izuku arrived at his house, he had a lost look. Izuku. I did it again. Chapter 12. After Izuku accompanied the girls to see the martial arts where the girls were left in doubt about what secrets Izuku had, although now the boy was in a camp where the boy trained without stopping until the night came where they began to be attacked by the League of Villains. Izuku. Damn it, we're being attacked. Hiroshima. What do we do? Izuku. You guys go help the others, I'll take care of Muscular. He said this as he went against Muscular, who was looking at Izuku with great arrogance. Muscular. A child. Izuku. Seriously, all villains are the same. He said this while he was going against Muscular, giving him some blows that sent him crashing into some trees. Izuku. What did you think of that? Muscular. Not bad. Before he could do anything, he received other blows that sent him crashing into other trees, followed by a kick that raised his head to hit him and sent him flying, but before he could do anything, Muscular hit him again, followed by grabbing his leg to crash him against the ground, sending him crashing into some trees. Muscular. Don't tell me that's all. Muscular received a blow to the face, causing him to rise in the air, but before he could do anything, he received a kick that buried him in the ground, but he managed to get out of the ground to look at it and begin to change one eye. Muscular. You're the first one who makes me use this. Izuku. Then come with everything. When the eye changed, it grew bigger to go against Izuku, giving him a blow followed by another blow that slammed him against the ground to grab him by the face, to start dragging him to throw him against the rocks, but before he does anything, a huge darkness is seen coming out of the rocks and appeared in front of Muscular to begin giving him several blows, which left him in a bad state. Izuku. Damn, I'll only be able to stand for a few more moments. Izuku at great speed began to run to where the others were, seeing that they had some students. Kurogiri. I want them to surrender or we kill them. Izawa. Who is their leader? Kurogiri. All for one. Izuku heard that he came out of his hiding place. Izuku. I offer you a deal, if you let them free you take me. Kurogiri. And he says that all for one would accept it. Izuku. Believe me, the bastard will be happy to see me again. Kurogiri. That being the case, I accept the deal. He lets the students go so they can see how Izuku was entering the portal. Izuku. Take care. He said this as the portal closed, leaving everyone in shock at what his partner did for them. Kurogiri. All for one, we already have it. Afo. Finally, I waited a long time for this moment. Chapter 13. After Izuku went to the camp which was attacked by the League of Villains, where Izuku made a deal which they accepted to take Izuku with him, and he was currently tied up in a chair waiting to see the villain, but someone else came in which Izuku didn't recognize because he didn't look at them until he raised his head looking at the girls. Izuku. It's you guys, hello. Uraraka. Aren't you impressed that we're villains? Izuku. No, I knew from the beginning. Momo. Since when? Izuku. They just started spying on me. All with a smile. Hendo. And because you didn't do anything. Izuku. Because I believe that there is still a part of you that can be saved, I know that you are not bad people. Momo. Changing the subject, if you know that we are watching you all this time, tell me, do you love us? That left the girls thoughtful, looking at Izuku, but he only had the same smile, about to speak, but some people entered. Afo. I hope you've finished talking to him because it's my turn. The girls alone left the place, while all for one took a chair and sat down alone. Izuku. Tell me where you were when Inko Midoriya died. Afo. You know, working. Izuku. In being a villain. Afo. If you want to call me that, do it, everyone in the League of Villains is wondering why I want you so much with me. Izuku. They think it's because of my quirk or because I have something like an experiment, but you never told them the truth. Afo. I never told him. There you feel an earthquake. Izuku. I guess they never expected me to have a tracker on my suit. Afo. You got caught up in the reinforcement, smart boy, just like I expected. All for one went out to walk, but before they left the place they all saw how the door flew while Izuku was shown. Tamura. If free. Izuku. I'm sorry but I have to go. He said this as he started running in the opposite direction. Afo. Don't hurt them, but I want them back. The villains and the girls began to run after Izuku, who did not stop running until they came out seeing a great destruction. Type. Volv. Izuku. Sorry but I won't scratch it. He said this in order to jump away from them while watching All Might's fight against All for One. Izuku. Let's break everything. Izuku saw them approaching him so he ran again without stopping, while the two groups watched as the heroes appeared. Everyone saw how they defeated All for One, so the girls, since they were not taken with the other members and luckily they were not recorded, left the place by another route. Chapter 14. After the fight between All Might and All for One, which All Might won, causing the villains and the girls to separate into different paths, you can see how Izuku was with his friends talking calmly, although the boy would have to stay away from UA for a week and a few days for some matters. As for the girls. Toru. Now we have to think about how to get money. The girls were thinking until something came to one of them. Jiro. Girls All for One said that Izuku was worth gold. Uraraka. Yes. Jiro. What if we kidnap him? The girls thought until they had the same opinion as the girl. Days passed and Izuku was walking calmly down the street in a suit as he was returning from the cemetery. He was calm until a van pulled up next to him, and from the van the girls with masks got out and took Izuku, covering his eyes and mouth, putting him in the van to start driving. Keep quiet and everything will be fine. Izuku heard the sound of a gun but something else. Izuku. Tfiev. Jiro. What did he say? They uncovered his mouth. Izuku. Kami. Jiro. The girls got tense because the boy recognized them by their voice. Izuku. I guess the others are the other girls and they kidnapped me to get revenge for All for One. Momo. No, we did it for something else. When they entered a house they left Izuku tied to a chair and he continued with a smile. Kendo. Why does he still have a smile? Izuku. Because I promised not to stop smiling. The girls just looked at him for Momo to take out a phone. Momo. Hello, who do I have the pleasure of speaking to? I am Nezu. Momo. Well Nezu, we have your student Izuku Midoriya kidnapped. Izuku. Hello Nezu. Momo. We want $100 million or Izuku dies. Nezu. I'm sorry but I don't have that money. Momo. Excuse me? Didn't you hear me? We have kidnapped Izuku and we are going to kill him. Nezu. But I tell you, we don't have that money. At that they started talking while the girls tried to calm Momo down, while Izuku saw how some children approached. Izuku. Hi, I'm Izuku and you? I'm Kota. I'm Eri. Izuku. Hello, nice to meet you. Kota. Are you going to ask us to untie you? Izuku. No, it's not necessary, it'll just make things easier. He lowered his head to avoid being hit in the head by the phone thrown by an angry Momo. Izuku. Worst. Mina. Momo, relax. Kendo. Calm down. Izuku. That won't work. Uraraka. What do you mean? Sayu. You can't have an opinion, you're tied up, Jiro. Izuku. Is it that a cold bath, tear massages calm a person or just meditate on that? Momo. Well, I'm going to make something. He said it to leave the place. Izuku. And this necklace they put on me. Kami. Works to nullify any quirk. Izuku. I'm sorry. At that the girls left to cook while the boys stayed with Izuku. Kota. Now what do we do? Eri. No if. Izuku. And why are you here? Eri. We don't have parents, but they take care of us. Izuku. I see orphans, I'm supposed to be one, my mother is dead like for my father, let's say I want to kill him myself, but I'm not going to do it. Eri. Do you know what suffering is? Izuku. Yes, so much so that I have some secrets of my own. Kota notices that bandages can be seen through his white shirt, almost reaching his wrists. Kota. What happened to you? He said this while demanding the shirt, only revealing the bandages. Izuku. No, don't touch those bandages for whatever you want in the world, don't touch them. Eri. You are hurt. Izuku. It's not like it's one of my secrets. At that moment the girls arrive and see how Izuku talks to the boys in front of him. Mina. Hey, I'm always interested in seeing what you're hiding under those bandages. Momo. What if we find out? He said this as he brought his hand closer to the bandages. Izuku. No. He said this while throwing himself to the floor to avoid them touching the bandages. Sayu. So much for no one seeing her, Jiro. Izuku. Have you ever heard personal space? Respect mine and I'll respect yours. The girls just left. Chapter 15. After the girls kidnapped Izuku, who was now tied to a chair lying on the floor so that they wouldn't see what he had under his bandages until he saw how the girls set the table to eat something, so Izuku just looked at the boys who were watching TV. Izuku. Can you help me, kids? The children, seeing him, helped him get up. Izuku. They are very strong. Eri. Because you have some scars on your other arm. Izuku. They're training items. He said it with a nervous smile until the girls arrived with the plates of food, although they only put a bread in Izuku's mouth, giving him that to eat, making it very difficult for the boy to eat. Izuku. Asked, will I sleep in this chair? Jiro. We didn't prepare a room where you'll be tied up. Izuku. Will I sleep alone? Kami. Yes, but we will be watching you taking turns. Izuku. Please, there won't be any need for that, I won't run away, I promise. Uraraka. We don't trust you. Izuku. Okay. After eating, they took Izuku out of the chair, but left him tied up to take him to a room where they tied him up. The first turn was Jiru's, the second was Kami's, and the third was Momo's, although she later had to change shifts, but when she got to the room she heard a noise, so she entered to see with surprise how he was untied, so she took out a gun. Momo. Izuku, stay still. The boy was in a fetal position lying on his side, but he heard the boy crying, so he turned around in bed looking at what he was crying, and that he was asleep, only that he was talking in his sleep. Izuku. Please forgive me, they gave me the mission, and I didn't know anything else. Hold on, the ambulance is coming. The girl didn't know what the boy was referring to while she was sleeping, so she thought her current friends were wrong in her dream, so it was a nightmare, but everything changed because of the names. Izuku. Bakugo, Todoroki, Mom, I didn't mean to hurt you, I didn't mean to kill you, please hold on a little longer, you'll be okay. The girl understood that he did something bad in his past that was related to the three of them, so she lay down next to him and hugged him. Momo. Now Izuku is just a bad dream. The boy hugged her to begin to calm down. Izuku. I didn't mean to hurt them, it was their fault, they gave me the mission. Momo. What mission? What did I do? I better wake him up. Momo woke up Izuku, who blushed when his face was in Momo's breasts. Momo. Do you like it? Izuku. I'm sorry. He was kissed by Momo. Momo. Calm down now, I heard you talking in your sleep when you were sleeping. Izuku. And what did I say? He said it with a face which was again empty without feeling, surprising the girl. Momo. You only talked about a mission and that you didn't want to hurt some people, I woke you up before that continued. Izuku. Thank you. Momo begins to take off her shirt, seeing a sculpted body apart from having many scars. Momo. Much better. She said it while kissing Izuku in a lustful way, apart from being on top of him, kissing him with tongue until they separated, letting the saliva be seen, and they separated due to lack of air, and the two were taking gasps of air and blushing, although more Izuku and Momo had their hands on Izuku's bare chest. Izuku. Momo, this is not right. Momo. If you're right, we could wake the girls up another day. She said this as she lay down on her chest and fell asleep just like Izuku, while the two of them were hugging each other. Chapter 16. After Izuku met Eri and Kota while talking to them and the girls took turns watching him so he didn't escape at night, the girls had already woken up and went down to see how things were, starting to have breakfast, but the only one missing was Momo. Jiru. And how they watched Izuku yesterday. Sigh. It's just that Momo didn't wake me up. The girls heard that, they thought of the first bad thing, so they went to the room opening it to see a Momo in pajamas lying on Izuku's chest. Mina. They did it. Sigh. But that's unlikely. Uraraka. Leave that aside, don't you see Izuku's body? She said this while looking at his sculpted body apart from the scars, making the other girls blush. Kendo. I'm having fun with him today. When she tried to take Izuku, Momo woke up almost immediately and protectively hugged Izuku while he was still asleep. Momo. No, he's mine. Kendo. Come on, share, it's not like I'm going to die or anything. But those words, Izuku began to tremble and Momo noticed this. Momo. Calm down, Izuku, it's a bad memory. She said this, giving Izuku a reassuring kiss. Toru. Do you already know anything about Izuku's past of him? Momo. Yes, and it's not very nice, although there are some things I don't understand yet. At that, Izuku woke up seeing the girls. Izuku. Hello. At that, Mina, Kami throw themselves at him and start licking Izuku's body, but Momo pulls him out. Momo. Mine. Jiru. We can go down now. They all went downstairs to have breakfast, although they tied Izuku up again, well, they made the call again, while Izuku was talking to Kota and Eri. Izuku. So Kota, a villain named Muscular, killed your parents, and Eri left her. The two said yes as they began to go down, to which Izuku hugged them. Izuku. Unload your pain on me, I will protect you. Kota. You just don't understand our pain. Izuku. Even if it doesn't seem like it, I understand them. They forced me to kill my best friends and my mother. I know how they feel. Eri. How do you release all this pain? Izuku. I don't do it, I just keep this pain deep inside me so that people see me and feel bad, but you are children, and unlike me, you have the opportunity to vent all this pain because of that. The boys just hugged Izuku tighter, while the girls saw Izuku as a father figure who took good care of the children, although knowing about his pain made them feel bad for the boy. Izuku. How about we play? The children said yes, so they played until the children fell asleep. Jiru. So you were forced to kill your loved ones. Izuku. Yes, and the heroes weren't there to stop me, they didn't do anything, the promise I made to my friends was to become a great hero, be number one, and my mother was to always keep a smile no matter what, but well, the past is the past, and I have to look to the future. He said this with a smile as he walked to his room. Izuku. Don't worry, I'm going to tie myself up. At that Izuku entered his room while the girls were still doing their thing. Well, Momo entered the room to see Izuku without the bandages on his arm, seeing a symbol, but she saw tears in it, so she hugged him. Momo. Why don't you get that pain out? Izuku. I have no way to do it. Momo. Take it out and I'll help you get through it. She said this so that Izuku began to cry while Momo consoled him from the pain he had, letting everything out until at one point he calmed down and the two of them lay down to be calmer. Chapter 17. After Izuku has spoken with Kota and Eri, revealing a part of his past about what he did in the past and that pain that Momo had helped him get it out from the depths of his being and being calmer apart from lying with Momo in bed hugging each other. Momo. If you could free yourself so easily, why didn't you leave? Izuku. I don't know what a telling felt like other than something me to stay with you guys, so I will. Why do you need the money? Momo. It's because we wanted to help Kota and Eri, that's why we wanted. Izuku. I think I can help with part of it. Momo. What do you mean? Izuku. I can help if you want, there will be no need for all the bad things to continue, even if it takes me to the past, I will help them and you. Momo just hugged him tighter, but Izuku started to feel something, so he got out of bed. Momo. Is something wrong? Izuku. Tell the girls and boys to get ready to leave. Momo. Why? Izuku. Let's do it. Momo only listened to him to warn everyone to get ready to do everything once they were in the van, and everyone was ready. Jiro. Why are we here? Kendo. I have a better question, why is Izuku behind the wheel? Heimi. I have a better one because Izuku. Momo. Izuku saw something, and now he's going to help us. He said it to press a button and open the door which barely had enough space for the truck to pass, so Izuku began to drive at a speed in which the girls saw the police and some heroes coming out of some hiding places. Uraraka. So that's why. They saw how Izuku avoided the police with great mastery, but when he saw a foot of Mount Lady, he was able to avoid it with great ease and continue driving. Izuku. Don't you have weapons? Kendo. Yes, but we don't have our masks. They said this while they were hiding in the back, but they saw how Izuku took a gun and shot at some police cars, causing their tires to puncture, and they lost them, but the most difficult thing was Mount Lady, which made everything more complicated until Izuku saw a sewer tunnel, so he took it losing it, but he still had to keep driving without slowing down. Sai. Where are we going, Jiro? Izuku. They said they need a place where they can hide, so I'll give it to them. I just have to make sure they lose track of us. They noticed that it took many tunnels until it stopped at the exit of one. Izuku. That's it. Toru. We are between all the tunnels. Izuku. Yes, and that's why they won't find us. He said this to get out of the truck like the girls. Momo. And where to? Izuku. Buck me. He said this so that everyone would start running. Chapter 18. After Izuku, the girls and the two boys fled from the police and ended up in some sewers. They got out of the truck to start running for a few meters until Izuku stopped at a wall, looking at it while he began to touch the entire wall. Mina. What are you doing? Izuku. Watching. They began to hear the police approaching. Jiro. Then you can hurry up. Izuku began to knock on the wall, and as if he entered a password it opened through which everyone entered so that the wall would close. Izuku. Let's go. They started walking for a while until they found an elevator which they all entered and Izuku put a password and the elevator started moving. Toru. Where are we going? Izuku. To a place where we will be safe. He said this so that the elevator would stop and everyone would get off, seeing a hallway through which they walked until he opened a door to see a very luxurious house being made of great technology. Mina. And this place? Izuku. My old house and it still is. He said this as they watched, but a phone was heard ringing and Izuku responded. Izuku. Yes, hello Ren, yes it's me Izuku, something like that might come back, you don't believe it's me, then tell your men to get out of my damn yard before I come out and kill them all using up all my bullets now, if you believe me well bye. Sai. What happened, Jiro? Izuku. An old boss who needs to learn that I'm here. He approached a katana that was there and pulled out a bit of the edge to close it again. Izuku. I'm going to take a bath. She said this as she left while the girls were in the place until a while passed, in which Momo noticed that there was some blood from the katana that Izuku opened, so she went to where he was being followed by Kendo, Kami and Mina. Type. Izuku, you cut it. He said this while looking at where he had the symbol with a fresh cut, apart from having the same cut, but being about 4 old marks that are now scars. Izuku. It's that I worked as a shadow kill, we took some pills which made us adults for a few hours, and we were assassins for money. I accepted because my mother had money problems, that's why I have so many scars. I was with my friends Todoroki and Bakugo, which we were the best, but one day they gave me a mission to kill everyone who was in the address of a house. I just turned off the light and did the job, but when some light was reflected I saw who I killed my friends and my mother. Even if I hadn't accepted the mission they would have killed them. That's why I left this job apart from killing, and I dishonored my teachers. Every time I come back I make a cut in my tattoo as my punishment. And that he is hugged by Momo apart from the other girls. Momo. I'm so sorry. Izuku. It's okay, I'm going to do this again so I can help the children in you. I promise that if someone tries to hurt you, I will protect you. The girls kissed him upon hearing that, and the others arrived to see that Momo let them kiss him, so they took advantage of the moment. Izuku. Well, it looks like they need new weapons. He said this as he started walking, followed by the girls. Izuku. Well, I think you'll need something good, Jiro and Kami, I have some things for you. He said it to show off some weapons. Izuku. Very good and powerful, Mina, Toru, I think they are a little more close power. Izuku. Beautiful weapons, aren't they? The girls looked at the weapons. Izuku. Good evening, Momo, Kendo, Uraraka and Sayu. Izuku. I have this for you. Momo. And what about guns? Izuku. I have something. Izuku. And this is the arsenal. Kendo. What about knives? Izuku. I have everything. The girls tested the weapons for a while until each one went to sleep, at which point Izuku ended up in bed with all the girls above him. Chapter 19. After the girls ended up at Izuku's house and he told them about his past, why the scars apart from having killed his own family and friends, the boy was now in bed peacefully resting apart from giving weapons to the girls who were on top of Izuku, without leaving a single part of him that moves until he woke up looking at the ceiling, and some time later Momo woke up. Momo. Is something wrong? Izuku. No, nothing, I was just thinking. Momo. What were you thinking? Izuku. I'll go back to working as an assassin for Eri and Kota so they can have a good life. Momo. No need, all this will do. Izuku. It's just that I want to take care of you too. Momo blushes but hears a little laughter from Izuku, so Momo grabs his cheek. Izuku. We fight too much. Momo. Then don't laugh at me. Izuku. It's not that, it's just that it's the first time I've seen you blush and I never imagined anything like that. Momo. What thing? Izuku. That I fell in love with such beautiful villas. Momo just hid her blushing face in Izuku's chest so that he would make her look at him so she could give him a kiss while the other girls woke up. Izuku. You still amaze me that you let them share me. Momo then takes Izuku out from among all of them to hug him protectively. Momo. Mine. Mine. Share. She said it while everyone tried to get it out, although the first to kiss Izuku, if you can call it that, was Sayu, who put her tongue in his mouth so that the others would do the same, until Izuku left the room looking at the children in the kitchen. Eri. Izuku, what's going to happen now? Izuku. Now they will only live here. He said it with a smile while stroking his head, but the light went out. Mina. It seems the power went out. Izuku. Girls, take Eri and Kota and take them to the panic room. The girls, having doubts about why, went into the room where there were cameras. Mina. Why did you ask us this? Toru. Something must be happening. In the room with Izuku. Izuku. I know you're there, show yourself and you'll have a quick death. He said this as a person appeared wearing a mask. I'm Tur. Izuku. Tell me, Tur, what are you doing here? Tur. Now that you're back, the bounties are placed on your heads, you know, we can hunt each other down. Izuku. And that's why there are few. Tur. But it's okay, there are few people who would marry you because the others are afraid of you. At that point Tur would try to attack him with a gun, but Izuku took his hand to make him drop the gun to kick him, but he wouldn't let go of his arm to make him stop him to hit him in the face to open the door, and with one grab, he would send him flying out of the house, so that he would come out staring at him while he got up to take out a knife. Izuku. You're just a rookie. Tur would try to make a cut on his chest, but Izuku dodged it very easily to dodge another one that was going to his face. Tur tried to give him some cuts, but he couldn't make any cuts, but they were all dodged by Izuku until he took his arm, so that with one movement he would break his arm, causing him to drop the knife, which before it hit the ground, Izuku took it to stab it in Tur's chest while some cameras from outside that were from the panic room the girls watched him dot. Izuku. You're easy to kill. He said this as he dropped the body in the snow. Someone walking behind Izuku with a knife without making any noise was about to stab him, but Izuku turned around to stick the knife in the guy's head, causing him to fall dead so he could return to the house. While the girls left the panic room, the children who didn't see the fight but did when they came out was the blood that Izuku had. Eri. Are you okay? Izuku. Yes, I'm fine, it was just a few problems, but the light is already on. Go watch TV while I take a bath. The boys listened to him as he went to his room while the girls followed him quietly. Momo. Are you okay? Izuku. Do you know what they called me in this job? The monster of assassins. He said this while looking at his hands that had blood from the two dead people, but Momo took his hands from him. Momo. Calm down, you may have blood on your hands, but I will make you share this blood with me, so you don't have to bear this alone. Izuku. Well, I'm going to take a bath. When she went to take a bath without anyone noticing, Momo took the opportunity to go take a bath with Izuku. Chapter 20. After Izuku spent a few moments in the place with the girls, apart from protecting them from some guys who tried to attack them, the boy only went to take a shower to sleep with the girls, so that the next day he would wake up to go prepare breakfast. Eri. You're awake now. Izuku. Hello Eri, Kota. City. Hello. Izuku. I'm just preparing things so you can stay calm. At that point the girls approached, seeing Izuku and the boys. Jiro. Did something happen? Eri. No, nothing important. Izuku. Now that I think about it, they didn't try to make them go to school. Mina. We didn't have enough money to take them. Izuku. If you want, I can take you. Amy. Really? Izuku. Yeah, you guys calm down, I'm nervous. Sai. Now what will you do about the UA issue? Izuku. Easy, Eri and Kota will go to school, I will go to UA, and you will stay here without any problem, apart from looking for Eri and Kota. Uraraka. Which gives us confidence that you're serious and won't betray us to the heroes. Izuku. Computer code 10. Hendo. Code 10. Izuku. They will have all the capabilities to see all the information apart from handling some robots that can spy on me that I will also take with me, so that way there is more trust. Toru. Sounds better. Momo. In that case we let you go for now. That way Izuku went outside with the UA uniform ready to leave on a motorcycle, but out of nowhere they touched his sword, making him look back seeing Momo in a jacket. Momo. It's so cold, you better wear this. Izuku just took it to put it on. Izuku. Thank you. Momo. Just promise me that you won't leave me, everyone left me before. Izuku noticed that she spoke in a low and slightly sad tone, so he took her by the waist to bring her closer to give her a kiss that made her blush, but she accepted it as she hugged her neck until they separated. Izuku. I will never leave you. Then he got on the motorcycle to leave the place until he arrived at the UA, entering his classroom being seen by everyone who approached him. Kaminari. Izuku. Hiroshima. Izu bro, are you okay? Shoji. Are you running away? Izuku. Calm down, I'm fine. That's where Izawa came in. Izawa. Izuku with me. I accompanied him until he ended up in a part where all the teachers and the director were. Izuku. Is something wrong? Nezu. Yes, young Izuku, as we know of his kidnapping of him, the question is whether he escaped or was let go. Izuku. Let's say they let me go. Present might. We know they were girls, although we don't know who they are. Can you tell us who they are or what they look like? Midnight. Other than an idea of where they are. All this was seen by the girls since they knew that there was only one way out of this mountain, but the problem was that if they tried they would not make it in time. Izuku. No. That surprised everyone, even the girls. Nezu. No. Izuku. I won't tell him or do anything. All might. But they're villains, they kidnapped you. Izuku. It's true that they kidnapped me, but they are not villains, I saw it myself, they kidnapped me for a very good reason that I will not tell you. Even if you torture me, I will never tell you anything about them. Nezu. Are you protecting them? Izuku. Yes, if necessary I would give my life for them. Cements. At least we can know why. Izuku. As you know, I have problems with my past. Everyone agreed. Izuku. Well, they helped me and if it wasn't for them, I would never leave my past behind. When he said that, everyone was surprised. Izuku. If you let me, I have to go to class. In that way he left while everyone was still in shock, while the girls were happy apart from crying with happiness because of how Izuku showed that he would protect them. Chapter 21. After the girls let Izuku go to UA, he was interrogated by the heroes, but he didn't say a word in front of everyone's eyes, so he could go to class where he met his friends at the place, although they were talking about something. Izuku. I missed something that they even talked about behind my back. Hiroshima. It's about another festival. Izuku. Now who do I have to fight? Kaminari. Luckily against no one, we need to see what we can do in the festival, apart from the fact that some third-year boys, in fact one of them fought against the entire class and defeated us. Izawa. Izuku, someone wants to see you. Izuku. Who? Then 3 people entered that everyone recognized. Izuku. And who are you? The 3 of them were introduced as the original story for Mirio to get closer to Izuku. Mirio. Now I would like to fight with the whole class again. Izuku woke up with a big smile on his face. Izuku. You actually only fight with me. Mirio. That takes some of the fun out of it, but it is said that you are the strongest in the class. Izuku. And so it is. The two of them went outside with their hero outfits ready to fight. Lita. Izuku's quirk is. Izuku. Don't say it or it will take the fun out of fighting. Mirio went against Izuku to hit him, but the boy got ahead of him ready to kick him, but ended up going through Mirio to his surprise, so that he would get away from him, since he was close to hitting him. Izuku. Who would have thought, intangible you can go through anything without any problem, but your weakness is that if you have to attack you leave a point so that it can touch you, dangerous but very good, since you have to be able to attack at the exact moment. Mirio. You're smart. Izuku. And that's not all. He disappeared before everyone's eyes to deliver a kick that sent Mirio flying. Izuku. If you can't see me in time, you won't be able to anticipate the attack. Mirio. It's a shame. Izuku. What thing? Mirio. That you defend your kidnappers, I heard that, they are surely not worth defending. Izuku. Retract the. Mirio. But that. Mirio just looked at him to smile and go against Izuku, who put on a smile to do the same, and they bumped fists to get away from each other when Izuku approached Mirio to hit him, which ended up going through him, but when the blonde turned around to hit Izuku in the back, he himself, without looking, kicked him away to appear behind him and grabbed him by the neck. But Mirio became intangible again to get away from Izuku. Mirio. You are certainly very strong, I surrender. Izuku. Why? Mirio. You can anticipate my movements and without seeing me, you can hit me without any problems. Izuku. Oh well, and I thought it was going to get more interesting. At that point classes ended so Izuku could go to the house where he saw the girls who had just arrived from looking for Eri and Kota. Momo. Thank you. Izuku. Why? Mina. It's because you defended us from the heroes and another student. Izuku. It was nothing but you can tell me everything about Kota and Eri. The girls told her how Kota lost her parents and how Eri was abandoned by her parents and was kidnapped by a villain so that later they would help her get out of that hell. Izuku. I see, well you won't have to worry about that muscular guy anymore. Jiru. Why? Izuku. I defeated him myself a long time ago and now he's in Tartarus. As for that Overhaul guy, I heard rumors that he's back in town. Mina. Then we have to stop him from finding Eri. Izuku. That's the safest place, I promise you that. Uraraka. Other than that. Izuku. Recently the teachers called Kirishima and I to see the topic about a certain Overhaul. That made the girls look at him. Kendo. No matter what happens, don't confront him. Izuku. Don't worry, I can handle myself no matter how many villains get in my way. He gave them a smile that relaxed them somewhat. Chapter 22. After Izuku has gone through all the things with Mirio and the heroes who wanted to know where those kidnappers who lived with Izuku were, apart from talking about the cultural festival where everyone was calm on the subject, at this moment you can see Izuku with the girls in the living room apart from Eri and Kota. Momo. How was school? Eri. We did very well, we made some friends. Uraraka. That makes me happy, kids. Sai. Izuku, we understand that you have something very important to take care of in a few days. Izuku. I'm afraid so, I have to take care of a guy named Overhaul. At the name Eri had a scared face, so she went to where Izuku was and hugged him. Eri. Please don't fight him, I don't want to lose you. Izuku remembered Eri's story apart from that a guy named Chisaki that he found in the papers had the villain name Overhaul, and that guy was the same one who tortured Eri. Izuku. I'll be fine, nothing bad will happen to me. Eri. You promise? Izuku. I traffic it. That's how they tie so that each one could take the children to their rooms. Momo. It's very dangerous for you to go. Izuku. I know, I did more dangerous and crazy things. The brunette approached to hug Izuku who looked at her. Momo. Just make sure you come back. Izuku smiled to hug her. Izuku. I will. In this way the days passed until they had to go for Overhaul. Kirishima. Hey Izu bro, don't you dare lose a villain. Izuku. Same here, Kirishima. The two smiled to bump fists, they went to the house that they entered to end up in the underground part where they ran without stopping, but like the original story each of the heroes fought against the villains. Izuku. Aizawa-sensei heard a fight nearby. Aizawa. It could be Mirio. Izuku. Yes, but there is someone else. When they arrived they saw the blonde fighting Overhaul. Izuku. Mirio is hurt. Aizawa. Take Mirio and bring him here. Izuku. No, I'll take care of Overhaul, except the last time he said that he ended up being tortured by a chicken with steroids. Aizawa. Don't make me remember that. Izuku and Overhaul stared at each other as the green-haired man began to release some of his darkness and green rays from him. Izuku. I will definitely defeat you. Overhaul. I'd like to see that. The man ran against Izuku, who responded in the same way. When Overhaul tried to touch Izuku, the boy avoided it by hitting him in the face, causing him to move away, followed by a kick sending him flying. But before he hit the ground, Izuku grabbed him by the leg to make him end up slammed against the wall. But Izuku had to let go and move away because of some spikes that Overhaul made. Izuku went with his hand covered in darkness. When he hit Overhaul, himself stopped the blow with his hand without one of his gloves. Overhaul. Are you finished? When I tried to kill Izuku, nothing happened except the darkness moved a little. Overhaul. What's going on? Izuku. Your quirk is to disassemble and reassemble, but something happens. The boy exerted force, causing him to hit him. Izuku. You can't disarm the darkness. Overhaul made a lot of spikes which were destroyed by Izuku using his darkness. He saw how Overhaul began to lose control, so he jumped against the villain. Izuku. It's all over, this is for Eri. He did a lot of hits filled with dark matter against Overhaul, causing him to end up on the floor unconscious. After that, Izuku almost immediately went home. Beware. Pope. Girls. Dad. Izuku. Hey Eri, guess what? Eri? What? Izuku. That villain will never bother you again, I defeated him myself. The girl just smiled as she hugged Izuku, a moment seen by the girls. Chapter 23. After Izuku left to fight the 8 precepts of death to keep Eri safe, Izuku was currently waking up with the girls so that they would get up and go to breakfast so that they would all be calm without any problems, although more than that they were happy. Mina. This is good, Eri and Koda are now free and will never be bothered by those villains again. Jiru. That means we can go back to normal, you know, leave all this crime stuff behind and go back to how we were before, apart from leaving Izuku behind. Uraraka. Are you sure it's time to leave Izuku? The girls were talking about this without knowing that Izuku was listening to everything through a door, so he began to walk away, closing the door, being noticed by someone. Momo. You know what, I have to go do something. Amy. I say the same thing. The girls got up to walk to where they saw the door close. When they entered, they saw how a foot went through a dodge, causing them to walk to a door that closed, causing them to enter. They walked until they saw Izuku on his balcony, so they approached. Izuku. Don't worry, if you need some money to continue with your lives I can give it to you, anyway, I don't use any of this anymore. Momo. Izuku about what Jiru said. Izuku. It's okay, I understand if you want to move on with your lives. The two of them approached to hug the green-haired boy who had a smile that didn't promise to end in tears. Amy. Izuku, we won't leave you alone. Momo. Remember, I promised you that I would never leave you. The girls hugged Izuku so they could turn him around, each giving him a kiss on the mouth to the green-haired boy who could only reciprocate the kiss. Izuku. I already know that they wouldn't leave me alone. Before they could do anything else, they heard the sound of a helicopter and some patrol cars, so they returned to the room. Kendo. What's wrong? Hiro. We know he's out there, we tracked Izuku to this house, we know his kidnappers are here so they can get out and no one will get hurt. Izuku. Let me handle this. The boy left, letting everyone see him. Endeavor. Izuku comes to be safe. Izuku. Everybody get off my property. Endeavor. Excuse me. Izuku. I've been unkidnapped for a while now. Endeavor. We know that one of your kidnappers, Mina, is here, or rather, all of them, so you better come and let us do our job. Izuku. I told you to go away, get out and leave them alone, they didn't hurt anyone, and they didn't commit any crime other than kidnapping me, but get out now. Endeavor. Bell what? Izuku showed a control with 2 buttons, of which he pressed one, causing red lights to appear wherever everyone was walking. Izuku. Needless to say, if you don't leave right now I'll blow you all to pieces, I'll leave you up to 5. Endeavor. You wouldn't dare. Izuku. 1, 2, 3. Endeavor. You're not serious. Izuku. 4. Seeing his determined face, he could only do one thing. Endeavor. Let's all go, let's go, we're on private property. Everyone looked at this strangely, so they just started to leave the place before the eyes of the girls who couldn't believe how the boy was willing to kill for them. When they all left, Izuku entered his house where he was hugged by the girls. Uraraka. I can't believe you did that. Amy. We certainly chose a good future husband. The girls hugged Izuku, making him reciprocate the hug. Chapter 24. After Izuku had spoken to the other heroes so that they could leave the place calmly, although a little worried about the green-haired man's decision, Izuku entered his house to see the girls who were still in shock at seeing such a thing that the young man did for all of them. Izuku. Is something wrong? Toru. It's just that we still can't believe that you would actually do such a thing for us. Izuku. I just did what I think is right for other people, that's all. Momo. I hope you stay one more night. Izuku. Yes, it is my house after all. When night came, the children went to sleep while Izuku remained calm in his room, about to sleep, but at one point he noticed movement in his sheets, so he approached to see Momo who was in his bed. Izuku. What are you doing here, Momo? Momo. I just wanted to spend the night with you, I hope there's nothing wrong with that. Izuku. No, he doesn't have it. At one point the brunette gave him a kiss on Ella's mouth while she put her arms around her neck to throw him into bed. Momo. Guess one thing. Izuku. What? Momo. Today you will give me a child of yours. Lemon skipped. During the morning Izuku found himself waking up with Momo in his bed. Izuku. I definitely enjoyed it. Momo. Don't even tell me, me too. They said it with a smile on their face and to one side were all the girls tied up and still asleep. Chapter 25. After the passionate night that Izuku had with the girls, days began to pass, days turned into weeks, weeks into months and months into years, things had been going on normally, and more so with having finished a long time ago with the League of Villains, the precepts of death and all of them. Since then Izuku was able to handle one for all more easily being number one in the ranking of all heroes, being the new symbol of peace, while the girls were left alone, now in a school some women they were passing by with their sons and daughters. Girl. Mom, where's dad? Mina. Well, let's say your father is busy with certain things, you know, being a hero isn't easy, and even less so the symbol of peace. Boy. I would like to be a hero like dad to be the strongest. Momo. Sometimes you don't have to be a hero to be the strongest. Ryu. Ryu Midori Rozu, son of Izuku and Momo, a dark-haired boy with a creation quirk like his mother and small fragments of one for all like his father. Girl. I would like to be a villain, at least that way I will find the love of my life. Mina. No need to go that far, lady. Lady, a pink-haired girl like her mother having a quirk of increased brute strength. Girl. I want to join the band that Irini made. Jiru. It's okay, Diane, but remember that you also have to behave well apart from playing the instruments well. Diane, a purple-haired girl with green highlights, daughter of Jiru and Izuku, had a quirk like present might, although unlike him, she could use it all over her body, even throwing it with her hands. Girl. I want to go with Kodanai, now he works with dad. Amy. But Elizabeth, you still have to spend a few more years to be a hero and fight alongside them. Bren, a green-haired boy with brown highlights and eyes like Kami's, making it clear that she is her daughter of Ella, as well as Izuku's daughter of Ella with a quirk of illusions, apart from creating a mist that can destroy things around her. Boy. I will be the only one, I will also be a great hero even if it is for a little money. Uraraka. Calm down, Ren, you're going to be a great hero, but you have to wait a little while. Ren is a brown-haired boy with emerald eyes, son of Uraraka and Izuku, with a quirk that allowed him to control gravity, although he had limitations with that. Boy. They won't leave me behind, I'll be very strong too. Kendo. We know that very well. You, an orange-haired boy with green highlights, having one eye like Kendo's and the other like Izuku's, being his son of the two, having two quirks from his parents, although he did not have one for all. Girl. I think it's better to be a businesswoman than anything else. Toru. Calm down, Izumi, all that will happen soon. Izumi, daughter of Toru and Izuku, a green-haired girl who had a quirk that allowed her to be invisible and also to make other things invisible. Boy. I'll go with my brother so I can fight alongside Kodanai and dad. Sigh. It's going to be time, Lion, just wait like them. Lion, a green-haired boy with more than one frog featuring like his mother but having some freckles on his face like Izuku, having a quirk similar to Tsai's, but unlike her this quirk allowed him to improve parts of his body. As they walked they noticed how on television a businessman was found dead without knowing who the murderer was, but the women knew well who it was, so they felt happy. In another part, Izuku was walking to kneel before 3 graves, leaving some flowers. Izuku. I know I haven't come in a long time, old friends, Mom, but well, I don't know if you'll be proud of what I did, but I'm sure you found out that I did what I promised years ago. I killed the bastard. I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't care now, at least you'll rest better and without a doubt you would have liked to meet my wives, sons and daughters. I just came to talk to a little and then talk to my family. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. That green-haired man with freckles stood up to start leaving the place, showing the base that said Katsuki Bakugo, Shoto Todoroki, Inko Midoriya. While he walked calmly he felt like 3 hands rested on his shoulder, which he recognized immediately to turn around and look at the base to release a tear, since he could swear he was seeing those friends and his mother with a smile, as if they were proud of him while they disappeared in the wind. Izuku. Thank you very much for supporting me. He turned around to leave the place. In a house the women with the children had arrived to start cooking, although after a short time Izuku arrived with a smile, so that his children would greet him and go to play leaving him alone with the women. Amy. Are you okay, Izuku? She said this worriedly after noticing that Izuku was a little sad a few moments ago. Izuku. I'm fine. Jiru. Remember that you can't fool us with anything. Izuku. It's that I went to see their base, and although it may seem strange to say something even ridiculous, I swear that for a moment I saw the three of them again. But that the women hugged him. Uraraka. And they told you something. Izuku. No, they just gave me a smile as if they were proud of everything I've done so far. The women hugged him until they let go. Toru. We forgot to tell you, soon Kirishima, Kaminari and Mirio will come to visit with their families apart from Kota and Eri. Izuku. Thanks for the heads up. In this way the hours passed until the other families arrived with a smile while they tied together, spending happy moments enjoying the enormous peace they had. Elizabeth. Mom never told us exactly how they met Dad. Amy. But we said it several times. Diane. But they never said how they fell in love with him. Ryu. I was also watching the news from before and found out that Dad was kidnapped by the League of Villains while ago. But that the women were nervous until Izuku had a smile. Izuku. Okay, I'll tell you how I met them until the moment I had you, I'll tell you everything about how I fell in love with villains like them. In this way he began to talk to his sons and daughters while the families, Kota and Eri, had a smile. Over 1. Days had passed since the sports festival, and at UA some things could be done, although now Izuku was going on a plane being calm, while All Might sat in front of him, so he could see him with a smile on his face. All Might. You seem pretty excited. Izuku. Yes, in a few minutes we will land on the island where the best scientists in the world are, and in that place is Professor Devo, his old partner who designed the suits. He said it with great emotion in his words only for All Might to have a smile on his face. All Might. That's how you talk. When they landed they began to walk calmly around the place, without having noticed that a certain group of girls were watching the green-haired man from afar. Mina. What is Izuku doing here? Momo. I don't know, but he is accompanied by All Might, which means that there is something that the two of them are hiding. Uraraka. This is going to be interesting with the attack on the island, aside from the fact that for the moment we can keep an eye on Izuku. The girls agreed and started walking, watching the duo from afar without them noticing. All Might. There is one more thing, young Midoriya, you have to know something once we arrive. At one point a girl's scream was heard. Girl. Uncle All Might. They watched as a blonde jumped up to hug All Might, who returned the hug with a smile. All Might. Young Midoriya, she is my niece Melissa Shielf. Izuku. My pleasure, I'm Izuku Midoriya. Melissa, nice to meet you Izuku. The girl noticed how Izuku's hands had a few scars. Melissa. How did you do that? Izuku. Well, training very hard. Melissa. I think I have something to keep you from getting hurt. He said this while putting a bracelet on Izuku which he touched to activate it, becoming a ribbon that covered Izuku's hand. Melissa. It's made to withstand All Might's blows. Izuku. Great. From afar the girls watched with noticeable jealousy, so that it would happen like the original story in which Melissa began to teach him about the island, causing Izuku to be surprised by all that. Momo. What are they talking about? Jiru. He's just showing him parts of the island, that's all. Hendo. But he's getting really close to Izuku. Amy. Maybe we'll have to separate them at some point. The girls looked at this and at one point they saw a small explosion coming from a place where Kirishima was. Presenter. Great, we have a champion. Izuku. Great is Kirishima. Melissa. Do you know him? Izuku. Yes, he's my partner. Presenter. Anyone else up for it? Melissa. If there is someone else here. He said this while pointing at Izuku, making him blush a little, while in the distance the girls became more and more jealous without knowing why. Izuku. Okay, I'll pass. He stood in front of the robots, and when they said he could start at high speed, he began to destroy all the robots at high speed, surprising some by surpassing Kirishima's score. Izuku. I think I did well. Kirishima. Hey Izu bro, there were also Kaminari, Mienta and Lita on the island. Izuku. Sounds good, let's go visit them. Melissa. Hey Izuku, I'd like to ask you a little question. Izuku. Which one? Melissa. Do you have any girl on your mind? By asking that question the villains paid more attention to the green-haired man. Izuku. I think if I have some girls in mind they are friends for the moment, but I don't know if they would like to be something more than friends. The girls blushed at that, only for them to leave the place going on like the original story until the dance part where everyone got together, although the girls were preparing for their plans. Lita. What are you doing, arriving late? He told it to Mineta and Kaminari, who arrived late. Kaminari. The road was very long. Mineta. It's easy to get lost in this place. At one point things started to go wrong, so they saw how the place began to be taken over by the villains. Kirishima. This is bad. Izuku. We have to do something about this. Kaminari. Then let's begin. Izuku. Melissa, you know about the place, you can return everything to normal. Melissa. But for that I need to be somewhere else. Izuku. Then let's go. Things started happening like the original story until the robots part. Hiroshima. Those things are going to be a problem. Izuku. Yes, but not one for us. Kaminari. That's true. The three of them launched themselves against the robots, beginning to destroy them as if they were nothing, although it was a bit difficult for Kaminari under everyone's gaze, until they reached a point where everyone had to separate since Izuku had to take Melissa. Izuku. How much longer until we arrive? Melissa. Not much. At one point the green-haired man grabbed the girl, preventing someone from hitting her with a bar. Izuku. Villain. He said this while looking at the group of girls who were wearing masks. Melissa. What do we do? Izuku. Go get the controls, I'll take care of them. Melissa. But there are more. Izuku. Go, I'll be fine, you don't have to worry. The blonde listened to them and left while the villains from their masks had a device that distorted their voice. Momo. So you're a hero, you act brave. Izuku. What can I say? I've been like this for years. He got into a combat stance in front of the girls only for Izuku to dodge some furniture that went against him, noticing that it was because of one of the villains who could make things float by touching them, but he had to dodge the tongue of another of the villains, followed by putting his arms in a cross, avoiding a punch from one of the villains that made his fists grow bigger. Izuku. Incredible, their quirks are strong, but they are going to need more than that. I noticed how another of the villains threw liquid on the floor where Izuku was, but when he moved it broke, causing him to fall to the floor, but he had to react quickly, dodging the blow of a bar from the one that seemed to be the leader only for another one from her mouth to throw a kind of mist, so Izuku covered his nose. Izuku. They're strong for sure. He looked at the girls until the one who seemed to be the leader launched herself at Izuku, trying to hit him with a metal bar, but the green-haired boy dodged it with some difficulty, but before he could make any more movement, he felt another blow to his stomach, not seeing anyone, but in a second the girl with the metal bar took the opportunity to start hitting him. Izuku blocked the attacks masterfully, but felt some blows reaching his body, not seeing anyone until he learned that it was another villain with a quirk that made her invisible, until at one point the girl who could increase the size of her hands hit Izuku full force, sending him crashing into the wall, but before they could move, they ended up tying him up with metal ribbons. Izuku. Curse. Momo. Calm down, we just want to see you a little more. He said this as he grabbed Izuku's shirt to tear it, causing everyone to see his body with those scars, causing the girls to start blushing if it weren't for the masks, but they put it aside. Momo. Wow, it seems like you're not doing too bad. Mina. How did you do that? Izuku. I don't think they care. Hendo approached Izuku so he could see how he took off his mask, revealing only his mouth, making him think the worst, but he felt how he began to kiss him. Momo. What are you doing? Hendo. Having a little fun. That voice seemed familiar to Izuku, and for some reason he felt it was something pretty good, but before he could continue thinking, the other girls began to do the same. Uraraka. What do you think? Izuku. I can't deny it, those kisses were good, although out of pity my heart belongs to other girls out of pity for you. At that the girls blushed a little again, but saw how Izuku began to free himself, so Kami used her quirk to escape with the others. The rest of things happened like the original story. OVA 2. The entire class 1 was inside an island, calm for a simple detail, and that detail was that they were like in a test class to see how they could behave helping the local people, each one being in a part helping calmly, although a certain green-haired boy was walking through a park being calm. Izuku. Wow, this place really is quite calm. At one point I hear a child crying so I can get closer to him. Izuku. Is something wrong? Child? No. Before he could continue with his questions, he saw a girl going down a slide. Girl. There's no need to try to pretend to be a hero. Izuku. Wait, I'm not pretending, you can tell me whatever you need. Girl. Well, we don't need you, go now. The girl began to leave with a man who appeared to be her brother. Izuku. Wow, I didn't expect something like this, it would be better to start leaving with the others. He went to where the rest of the boys were, everyone was calm, but he noticed that boy approaching him. Child. Hero, I need your help. Izuku. What's wrong? Child. Please eat. They began to run until on a mountain he could see a kind of monster that was about to launch itself against him and destroy him with one blow. Izuku. Wait, it was just an illusion. He saw the girl who was in the place to get off. Izuku. You did this, right? Girl. Yes. Izuku. Kids, it's not good to be doing things like this, they really worried me a lot, well just don't do it again, but why don't we start on the right foot, okay? My name is Izuku Midoriya. He said this with a smile to the children. Boy. My name is Katsuma. Girl. My name is Miharu. Izuku. Well Katsuma, Miharu, we better go to the town here, it can be dangerous in exchange for them knowing the place. They were about to leave but heard a voice behind them. Momo. It seems like you'll never lose that personality you have. I look at the brunette to get serious. Izuku. Please children continue, it seems that there may be some problems around here. The children did their bidding and left. Izuku. All for One was recently defeated and now they are coming after you. Are you alone or are you alone? At one point he was surrounded by the girls. Mina. As always, you know how to think things through. Izuku. Just tell me what you want now and then you can leave in peace. Uraraka. Really? Well that's pretty easy, we want you. Izuku. What? Pay me. Let's say that there are certain things that are quite interesting to us. Izuku. Then I'm sorry to tell you that I won't be able to leave without a fight first. He said this to get into a fighting stance. Kendo. Don't worry, it will happen when you least expect it. He said this so that each one went to Momo to turn around and start leaving. Izuku. One more thing about the island, when I met Melissa those villains who kissed me, were you right? Girl's thoughts. I found us out. Izuku. From your expression I can tell that yes. The boy turned around to leave, hours passed and at the port a ship began to arrive like the original story so that everyone could begin to evacuate, but where Katsuma was with his sister, they were totally still as they had 9 in front of them who was against them. 9. You guys are the last thing I need to complete me. He was about to touch the young people, but at one point he created a shield, avoiding a blow from Izuku, who only came down to take the children and go to a more open field. 9. Interesting. Izuku. Kids run, go with the rest of the people, I'm going to take care of this guy. He said it seriously so that the children began to leave the place, while Izuku just looked at 9. Izuku. It seems like this fight isn't going to be easy at all, right? 9. You have great power young man, maybe I'll keep it. Izuku's thoughts. This guy has the same presence as All for One, I can't trust him in any way. She put on black gloves as she looked at him. Izuku. Before anything else, you happen to have some relationship with All for One in the League of Villains, right? 9. Let's say I'm an experience that's now in danger of death and that child is my salvation even if he ends up dead. Izuku. I see, I'm sorry to tell you that I can't let you go because of those kids in any way. He said it to launch himself against 9, who was expecting the blow but saw how a huge explosion came out of one of those gloves that made a huge amount of smoke so that when he left, he saw how the boy left. 9. It's gone now. From now on Izuku was watching him. Izuku. This is bad, this guy is very dangerous. He saw how at one point he fell to his knees, making it clear that he was wrong. Izuku. Then there really is something wrong with him, but I can't let him kill Katsuma either. The boy left as he noticed one of his classmates taking 9 away while the entire class was gathered somewhere else. Tokoyami. Why did you call us? Izuku. There's a problem, there's a very dangerous guy. Kirishima. If you're talking about that group of villains that arrived, then let us tell you that we defeated their leader. Izuku. Well, he wasn't their leader. I recently found someone who has the same presence as All for One and that means the worst problems. Lita. Not for nothing, but who is All for One? Izuku. If you remember that fight where All Might almost died when he showed his true form, I'm talking about that villain. Kaminari. So in other words we have no chance. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.